Hey, my tribe. This is Queen Amina Black Love coming at you with a review from Ready to Love Season 3, The Reunion, Part 1. How's everybody doing this year? Hope this year is going better than last year. Shouldn't be hard to do, but anyway, hope you guys are feeling all right and doing all right. Let's get right into this review. We have a lot to unpack. A lot happened on this review, or on this episode, part 1. But I gotta say, a lot also was not discussed. So there's some things that I'm looking forward into seeing in part 2. Get down in the comments and let me know what you're looking forward to seeing. We didn't get to talk about Naya and Edwin. We didn't talk about Naya and Chris, of course, which was a big thing. So I'm sure they're going to have something, about that in episode or part 2 of the reunion. And also, I mean, some of the things they talked about, in my opinion, they skipped over a little bit. They didn't give a lot of detailed information about them. We started out with Alicia. That's where they started out on. And what all they did, of course, everybody's heard the rumors that after the show, she was pregnant during the show. Now, from what the rumors that I've heard is she was 5 or 6 months pregnant. And we know this is 3 months later, so she should be very big, or she should have had the baby by now. Didn't seem that way on the show. They skimmed over the incident with her and David just a little bit, which was what seemed to send him packing, which seemed to send him home. They talked about that a little bit. They also had a little section with him and Joy where she assured him it wasn't because of that incident with her, that he was sent packing. I think it was a combination. But, they skipped over that. They didn't talk about that a lot. But they asked him, did he make any connections beyond the show? And it seems that him and Alex have connected. So they're talking about, going out on a date, after the reunion, which I thought was pretty cute. Speaking of Alex, we can't talk about Alex without talking about her connection with Brian. Brian apologized to her with the if clause. So, no one was buying it. She wasn't buying it. And then he immediately started talking out a hole in the side of his neck. So she mentioned something about his baby on the way, and he said that's fake news. So he pretty much looked like he looked on the show, a clown, in my opinion. So let's talk about the house that Jay built. They started talking about, entanglements and Jay with Joy, Jay with Simone. Of course, there was a lot more to that than we were privy to seeing. And also Jay with Winter. So she, Simone just kind of went off and threw up her hand, and she don't want to hear anything else Joy has to say, and called Joy and Winter sister wives, and meanwhile Joy saying give Simone an Oscar. But then after that big Oscar worthy performance, she turned around and asked for a hug. So her and Winter hugged it out, her and Joy hugged it out. But then they still had this. Jay was still in the hot seat because during the reunion they had these never before scenes, or never before seen footage, I should say. And so they started talking about Jay and Winter. And as you can see here, there's some interesting hallway activities going on there that everybody's seeing for the first time. And for me, I was always like, Winter's so crazy over him, and she's nuts over him, and he's not that interested in her. Well, there was some behind the scene things that kept her hanging on that we didn't see. They were even saying that they were having lots of conversation, just conversation. But in those conversations, Winter was saying you can choose between the simple life or the best time of your MFing life. Okay. So I just feel Jay and Winter sort of fed off of each other. They gave each other what they needed. And then they went from there and talked about, if you remember this scene, he was telling her it was over from what we viewed. But there was more to that scene where he told her, let's just go out on another date and fix it. So you see he's sweating bullets there because he was really playing the game. So Jay had a lot of entanglements. So I don't know where it's going to end up for Jay. It was a mess. So let's go into Denise. Denise. I was rooting for her from the beginning. Just so happens in this scene where they told of Joy's sister, her unfortunate and tragic death, Denise decided she was going to make a speech. She decided she'd make a speech and say something that Joy didn't say to the rest of the castmates. She wanted to be Joy's voice. Now, this was another Oscar worthy moment, if you ask me. Y'all let me know what the Oscar's going to her for. Best supporting role, best bullshitter. What is it going to her for? That was another Oscar winning moment, I think, in this episode. And so now, of course, everybody's wondering about Winter and Anthony. Are they still a couple? I said they weren't. People told me all kinds of stuff. You're negative, you're this, you're that. They are not. So it was the finance issue again, conveniently. And they sort of fell out because of finances. So they are saying that they're working at it. They've got back together and they're going to work at it. Okay, if you say so. But for me, I don't think they're, going anywhere with it. All right, so let's just talk about what's coming up on the next, part 2 of the reunion. Of course, Adriana and Denise have to have it out. So they're going to have an argument about, disrespecting each other, that type of thing on the next reunion. And it seems like that's coming up first, on the next part of the reunion. So that may be a little spicy. Everybody wants to know, are Joy and Jay a couple? Were they ever a couple? Or is she just his friend? He said friend so many times, I'm willing to bet that he's saying she's a friend. They're going to speak with Naya and Chris, of course, about that whole debacle. So she gets to tell her side of that story. Now, Calfani's saying when he got back home, there was a note on his door after the show. What kind of note is he talking about? Well, was there an eviction notice? Did he have to vacate? Did it give him 30 days to get out? Or was it Miss Denise? Did she plant some type of note on his door? I'm pretty sure it was her. And the other burning question we have is Calfani and Adriana still a couple? In my mind, I say no. I'm looking at body language and the way they're sitting on the couch, it doesn't look like they connected that much. So anyway, y'all get down in the comments. Let your girl know what you think about the show. What predictions do you have for next week? And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching me. I'd like for you to subscribe to my channel, like my channel, share my channel so we can keep the content coming. This has been Queen Amina Black Love. Thank you so much for joining me. Much love and peace to your day. Bye-bye.